Okay, this right here is the Sony A7CR. It just came out last fall, along with the A7C II, the next generation. There are some slight differences between the A7C II and the A7CR. Some of the big differences here. One of the big differences is that the A7CR just shoots in higher megapixels, which is why I went with it, is because I want to have those extra megapixels to be able to crop in, because I'm a terrible photographer. And this thing is great for photo and video. Great compact hybrid camera. I mean, look at this right here, like the size of that. That's a pretty good size. But today we're gonna build this out into a cinema rig. So I've got a bunch of supplies here, and as we build it, I'll walk you through what they are. So I have this Tamron lens, 28-200. That should be enough length to give some great photos. The 28-200 is great because it's great as a close-up lens, but also a zoom lens as well. So you get those wide shots and also those zoomed in shots. I've also got some Peak Design anchors on here already. Those just stay on my camera all the time. So first thing we're gonna do is put on this SmallRig cage. This cage here should not only just protect the camera, but also you could screw in 1/4" 20 attachments all over. Also there's cold shoe adapters, there are 1/4" 20s, and it's just an awesome cage. So first thing we're gonna do is put this on, and we put this on by sliding it onto the front, and then using the tool, we're gonna screw this 1/4" 20 screw into the bottom of the camera. Okay, so when that's on, I'll put this tool back here, magnets right in there, and next let's put on our lens. There you go. And also with the lenses, I recommend putting on a UV filter onto the front. Think of it as a lens protector because honestly, if you scratch this lens, it's done for. But if you spend like money on maybe a 10, 20, 30, 40, how much ever you want to spend on a UV lens, just put it on there because you won't regret it. So now that we've got our lens on, we've got our cage on, let's put this handle on right here. This handle right here will help you get those low shots and actually make it a little more stable. So we're gonna screw this into the top of the plate right here. And I have this multi-tool from SmallRig. I'm gonna use this here just to tighten it, just to make sure it goes on really good. There we go, and now we have the handle on there. It's already looking pretty good, right? Getting those low shots. You can fold out the screen and go really low. The next thing we're gonna do here is for racking focus. So I'm gonna turn this over, and you don't need to have these specific rails because there's a kit that comes with it that you could attach the rails onto the side. But I like this one, so I'm gonna do this and put these rails on. Make sure those are nice and tight. So now we have our rails on here. You can adjust them forward and backwards. And that's how it looks. Starting to come together really well. Then what we wanna do is this is gonna slide onto the rail on the bottom, on the right. And as you turn this, it's gonna turn that, and that'll allow you to rack your focus with your lens. So we're gonna slide this on here. So this isn't a cinema lens, so if I try that, it's not gonna turn this focus knob here. So this adapter comes with it. It's like a belt for it. So I'll just put this on right there. And you could cut the excess off if you don't need it, but essentially, if I turn this, you can see it's moving that focus ring. So now, this right here, I'm gonna move this back further. I'm gonna rest this right onto there and then tighten this. And now you'll notice that this spins as I spin this. You can rack focus. Now that we have that on, let's have this thing sit a little higher. I use these Peak Design Arco Swiss plates here because that's just my setup. You could put on any plate on the bottom. That preference is up to you. But for me, my system's set up with Arco Swiss. So I'm gonna put this on the bottom. You can put it either here or here. I'm gonna put it up here more because the weight looks like it's more in the front. So I want this to be as centralized as possible. I know someone's like, you should use a cinema plate if you're gonna use a cinema rig. This next one right here is just a tripod that I put together. You don't necessarily need this because you could use any tripod you want, but I'm gonna use it for this demo here just to get it to sit up. And that's really coming together. Next up is what if you get that sunlight that's about to hit the lens? Not only that though, to make it look cool, it really does look cool. There's this matte box. This matte box can go on the front of the lens. You can fold that out and you could block the sunlight from hitting your glass. But this doesn't go straight on there. There's an adapter ring like this, and I put the adapter ring on the front. It just screws onto the threads that are inside, and that goes on the front, just like so. And the matte box just tightens right on there. And before we close up this front lens here, let's say you're shooting outside and you need to use an ND filter. I have the Polar Pro Peter McKinnon Signature Edition 2. That's a mouthful, but what I could do is I could actually screw this onto the front. And now I have my variable ND filter right inside. I can remove that because this is gonna be protected by my cover. Okay, we're getting close. We've got 3 more things to go with. This thing's getting heavy, and if it falls to the ground, there's a cage, but that doesn't mean that things can't break, and it'll break your heart if it did fall. So you have this leash right here. This is just good to have in general. So what I'll do is I'll put this leash onto the bottom, right here, loop it through itself, and now I have this leash that I could attach to my tripod so that if it does fall on accident off of the plate, I have this second layer of protection. Now that's a little more secure, won't break my heart if it fell. Okay, we've got that. Okay, 2 more things we got to do is audio and monitoring. So let's kick off with monitoring here. This is the Axoon CineView Nano, and what this will do is it'll take the HDMI out from your camera, send it to here, and it'll broadcast a signal for up to 4 devices wirelessly. So you can use your phone as a monitor, or if you want to have your phone in here, you just pull that up and your phone can just sit in there as a monitor on top. The way this works is we put it onto this cold shoe on the top, and that's tight. Next, we have an HDMI in on this side. I'll plug that in there. HDMI in, but the HDMI out from the camera will be right here on the side. And we'll plug it in right there. Now you have HDMI out from your camera into this here, but there is this clip right here that'll protect this door and this cord from breaking. So let's tighten this on here. I have had this happen before to where I just had an HDMI cable coming out of my camera. I bumped it on something, it bent the cable, and that was that. I had to spend more money on buying another cable because I didn't protect it here. So that's protected from bending. Now we have video out. Also, let's put the battery on there to power this thing up. And now we're set with video out as a monitor. Okay, then last but not least, let's do audio. I have got the DJI Mic 2. This is the receiver, and this is the audio out. So we'll go to the camera here. This red port right here is for audio out. Plug that in there. And then on the top, I found that when I clipped this on into the cold shoe mount, it was loose and it would fall out. So I just put one little layer of gaff tape in there, and it actually fits really well. So you slide that in, that's pretty tight, it's not going anywhere. And then we plug this into the orange spot. So that is the full cinema rig. You've got everything going here in all of its glory. There it is right there. That is the cinema rig built by yours truly with pieces from SmallRig, Axoon, DJI. Who else is involved in this thing? Tamron and Polar Pro. This is just a conglomeration of good parts right here. This to me is like a 10-second car. I owe you a 10-second car. This is it right here. So if you want to learn more about this, I'll have links to all of these pieces down below. They will be affiliate links. So obviously if you purchase through there, thank you, first of all, but I'll also get a kickback from it. So thank you again. And it won't cost you anything extra. Just gives me a commission from referring you to purchase those products. But this rig right here, why this rig? I'll tell you why. And it's very easy. There's 2 answers. One, it sure looks cool. Like it looks really good. Like showing up to a shoot with this, imagine going to a wedding or a music video shoot or a commercial shoot, like the A7CR is powering all of this. And for those that know cameras, they're like, well, why not an FX3 or something more expensive like a cinema camera? Well, you can start here, get some really good results, and also show up looking professionally on your sites. But 2, other than the fact that it looks good, every piece on here has a purpose. It has a purpose for making good videos. And if you know me, if this rig is exciting and it inspires you, that's half the battle. It's inspiring you to dust it off and get going with it and to get it working. So that is my cinema rig. If you found value in this video, please like and comment and share with your friends. And also, you're more than welcome to subscribe to the channel. But that is the cinema rig that I built today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.